All right, so move on to the next segment. I'll be sharing my top 5 defenses heading into this upcoming NFL season. So this list was actually pretty hard. In my opinion, there's a lot of defenses that are worthy of making this top 5 list. But I have 5 particular teams that have made this list. So I'll start at number 1, going all the way down to number 5 on my list. So my top 5 defenses heading into this upcoming NFL season. Number 1, I'm going with the reigning defending Super Bowl champions of the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, it might be a stretch for some to believe that the Eagles are the best defense heading into this NFL season, but until proven otherwise, I have to put them number 1. They were the best defense in the league last year. They led the league in most defensive categories, and Vic Fangio, one of the best defensive minds in football, is still the defensive coordinator for this Philadelphia Eagles team. So I think they are going to pick up where they left off last year, despite losing some key pieces on the defensive side of the ball. They still have a lot of talent there. I'm going to put them number 1 on my list. Number 2, I'm going to go with the Baltimore Ravens. I've been raving about the Ravens all off season, and I think their defense is going to take this right step in the right direction. I mean, they're stacked with talent. Roquan Smith at linebacker. You got Mike Green at edge rusher. Marlon Humphrey, Jair Alexander, Nate Wiggins as your corners. Then to top it off at the safety positions, free safety and safety, you have Kyle Hamilton and Malachi Starks as you move around a lot on the defensive side of the ball and put those 2 respective players anywhere on the defensive side of the ball. So I think that could be really effective. Number 3, I'm going to go with the Denver Broncos. They really loaded up this NFL offseason with talent. I mean, Hufanga, former safety for the San Francisco 49ers, Dre Greenlaw, former player for the San Francisco 49ers. Jahdae Barron was a steal cornerback from Texas in the first round. To pair up with the best cornerback in football and Patrick Surtain, they're going to have a lot of fun in Denver on the defensive side of the ball. They're number 3 on my list. Number 4, I'm going to go with the Kansas City Chiefs. The defense was actually the backbone of the Kansas City Chiefs team last year. Nearly brought back every single defensive starter from last year, which is really good. I think they're going to be a really good defense all across the board. And at number 5, I'll go with the Houston Texans. And everything is so good about this Houston Texans defense. I mean, they got good pass rushers in Will Anderson Jr. and Danielle Hunter. And they have a good linebacking core and have one of the best DB units in the National Football League, starting with Derek Stingley Jr. leading the way. But I just think there's so many great defenses in the National Football League this year. Defense wins championships. It was hard to put these 5 on the list. I mean, I got some honorable mentions, like you could throw in the Los Angeles Chargers, you could throw in the Pittsburgh Steelers and honorable mentions, but these 5 defenses I do believe will be the best in football this NFL season. But let's go to a deeper dive of the reason why I put them 1 through 5. Starting off with the reigning defending Super Bowl champions of the Philadelphia Eagles. Last year, they held their opponents to only scoring 18 points per game, which is very impressive at this National Football League level. And they were good at everything. They were good at defending the pass. They were good at defending the run. They were good at getting home and sacking the quarterback. I mean, they did lose the key pieces on the defensive side of the ball, like I did mention it a few moments ago. That is honestly noticeable because there were some better pieces that left. Talk about Darius Slay, former cornerback for the team, Josh Sweat, Brandon Graham, who retired, Bryce Huff. I mean, those were some key pieces to help the Eagles be an effective and dominant defense last year. But Vic Fangio is here to save the day. One of the best defensive minds that the National Football League has ever seen. And he's still going to find a way to make this defense look elite this upcoming NFL season. And the front 7 is still loaded. The secondary is very scary, which is very alarming for me being a Dallas Cowboys fan. But Quinyon Mitchell, he had a solid rookie year last year at the cornerback position. He's going to be their number 1 corner this year, well-deserved. And this man, I really thought he should have won Defensive Rookie of the Year because the top-tier competition that he played as a rookie, he didn't back down from any challenges. I mean, he was locking up guys like CeeDee Lamb, Drake London. All across the board, he was playing some elite wide receivers all year long, and he did not let up at all. He played very solid. I think this is going to be a future All-Pro one day in the National Football League. Then Adoree Jackson and Cooper DeJean that you could play at the nickelback position as your nickel corner. There's a lot of defensive players that have been around for a little bit on this Eagles roster. They just haven't been starters or been used or going to be used. They're going to be asked to step up in a bigger role that they've ever been, some of these players, since being with the Philadelphia Eagles. But they've been with this team. They know what it's like to be a Super Bowl champion. They know what it's like to see the Eagles go on these runs. Now they're going to step up for some of these veteran players that are no longer there. I think this Eagles team is really going to be scary on the defensive side of the ball. I'm going to put them at number 1 on my list. Number 2, I'm going to go with the Baltimore Ravens. Now, there's so much talent in this Baltimore Ravens defense. I mean, they really had a good turnaround in the second half of the season. That's when they really ramped it up on the defensive side of the ball. That's why they found a lot of success down the stretch before the playoffs began. But there's so much talent to play with in this 3-4 defensive scheme. I mean, you can have 4 defensive backs on the field. You can move around Kyle Hamilton like a chess piece. Like I just said a few moments ago, he's a versatile player that you can put him at as a linebacker. You can line him up as a corner. You can line him up at his original position as a safety. I mean, Malachi Starks is the same player. He was utilized just like that on that Georgia Bulldogs defense in his time with the Georgia Bulldogs in college. I mean, you can line these players up as safety, line them up at linebacker. I mean, these are going to be pivotal things that are going to elevate the Baltimore Ravens to be a top 5 defense this NFL season. I'm looking forward to it. Again, 3, the Broncos. That last year, that was their coming out party for the National Football League. I mean, this defensive unit helped the Denver Broncos go 11-6 last year. They were a surprise team to a lot of people around the league. They piled up 63 sacks. They led the league in sacks last year with sacking the quarterback 63 total times. And they only allowed 19 points per game. That is elite top-tier defensive play. And they could be really number 1. I was really debating how I wanted to put my top 3. Any one of those teams I just mentioned could be number 1 or 2 or 3. But I just put the Broncos at number 3 based off how much I believe in the Eagles and the Ravens defense. But again, they improved. Jahdae Barron, Will Johnson, cornerback from Michigan, he slipped, in my opinion, in the draft and went in the second round to the Arizona Cardinals. But him and Jahdae Barron were the best cornerbacks a part of this 2025 NFL draft class. And the fact that the Broncos snagged him to play alongside Patrick Surtain, the best cornerback in football. So you're locking up 2 sides of the field, hopefully, if you're the Denver Broncos. I mean, how are quarterbacks going to thread the needle and get the ball to their top-tier receivers if you got 2 lockdown corners? Hopefully, Jahdae Barron can turn out to be that type of corner that he was at Texas at the next level. But I mean, Dre Greenlaw to help with this pass rush that just got 63 sacks. If he can stay healthy, Hufanga at safety. These are huge upgrades on the defensive side of the ball. But there's a big but here. And the thing is why I put the Broncos, maybe that's one of the reasons why I put the Broncos at 3. Because they did struggle against good offenses at times last year, which did concern me at times. You look at that Baltimore Ravens game on the road last year where they got blown out at the bank. The Bengals comeback loss that the Bengals rallied back in that game. The Bengals won that game in overtime. You can look at that Bills playoff game as well, where they got basically toyed around with, and the Bills pulled away big time in the second half of that playoff game. So those are a few examples of at times they got outplayed, outcoached on the defensive side of the ball. But I think these are minor tweaks that can be fixed that help the Broncos become the best defense in the National Football League. But I have a lot of high expectations for the Broncos, and I'm going to put them as the 3rd best defense heading into the NFL season. And then 4, the Kansas City Chiefs here. Last year, their defense was really one of the real reasons why they did go 15-2, and one of the real reasons why they did go back to the Super Bowl. And they were this close of achieving something that no other NFL dynasty, not the 90s Cowboys, the 2000 Patriots, have achieved. And that's going on a 3-peat. But they didn't pull it off. But the defense, if they did pull it off, the defense was going to get more credit than that Patrick Mahomes offense, which is insane to say. The best quarterback in the league, the defensive unit was more recognized than the offensive unit last year. But they held their opponent. The Kansas City Chiefs defense is always solid year in and year out. They held their opponents to 20 points per game. Allowing their average was allowing 2 touchdowns per game. They were solid at defending in the red zone. Leaders like Chris Jones and Trent McDuffie that have been with this Kansas City Chiefs defense for a very long time are going to establish the tone for this Kansas City Chiefs defense moving forward as they seek revenge to bring another championship to Kansas City. They'll be playing at an elite level. Steve Spagnuolo is one of the best defensive minds in football as well. He always has this Kansas City Chiefs defense playing at a high level. And he's known for being creative in his schemes, bringing the best out of his talent. So I have no concern about the Kansas City Chiefs on the defensive side of the ball. I think it's appropriate to put them top 5 in my list. And number 5, I'm going with the Houston Texans now. DeMeco Ryans, his defense it's always hard to strategize for this defense if you're offensive coordinators. He probably keeps a lot of offensive coordinators up at night thinking, how are we going to scheme against this Houston Texans defense? Because ever since DeMeco Ryan has been in town as the head coach, this team has been really good on the defensive side of the ball. They force a lot of turnovers to help put their offense in good positions, in good situations. That's best, and that's what these defensive players get paid big bucks to do. But their front four is really good. I think they just tweak it up a little bit and be a little solid, a little better at defending the run. I've seen them get gashed in the running department at times last year, that Christmas Day game against the Baltimore Ravens at home that they got blown out. That comes to my mind. But I think that's their only minor thing that they can fix, just to be a little better stopping the run. But they had one of the best secondaries in football last year. I mean, they led the league in interception thrown rate, which is impressive. The secondary is very scary. I think they have one of the best secondaries in football. I mean, Derek Stingley Jr., Kamir last year. I didn't want to butcher his last name. Jalen Petrie. They also added C.J. Gardner to their secondary. So this team is stacked top to bottom. Hopefully the offense can be as good as their defense, but there's going to be, if you love defensive football, there's going to be a lot of good defensive football that's played from a lot of teams this NFL season. Again, my honorable mentions that unfortunately did not make the list would be the Los Angeles Chargers. They played at elite level last year. And the Pittsburgh Steelers, they got a really good defense going there for them. That could be the backbone of their team this year. So, again, if you're a fan of defensive football, this could be your year because there's so many great defenses in the National Football League. But those are my top 5 NFL defenses heading into this upcoming NFL season.